Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So the tipping point state in the 2024 election was none other than the state of Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania has become over the years that state. And what I mean by that state, it's like the battleground state that if you win it, chances are you're probably winning the entire thing, hence the term tipping point state. And it's very crucial. Donald Trump won the state by 1.7 percentage points. He won the state by over 100,000 votes over Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential election. And the state has shown signs of turning to the right before this past election and also after this past election. And there are new voter registration statistics out today, and the trend is staggering. Active voter registration in the state is on the verge of flipping by the end of this year, let alone by 2028. And the total voter registration also is possibly on the table for flipping before the midterm. So we're going to talk about this for sure, but first, got to tell you guys about our friends over at Allegiance Gold. While the media is obsessing about Trump's tariffs, something big is brewing and nobody's talking about it except right here. Because starting this month, under new Basel III international banking rules, gold will officially be reclassified as a Tier 1 asset, placing it on the same level as cash and U.S. Treasuries. Translation, gold is money again. Just in the first quarter, thousands of tons of gold were quietly moved back to the U.S. from Europe. Meanwhile, central banks around the globe are stockpiling gold at record levels. That's not a coincidence. That's a signal. So if the world's most powerful financial institutions are hoarding gold, why aren't you? Don't wait. Call Allegiance Gold, the trusted experts that I've partnered with that have the highest ratings and accolades. They will help you secure real physical gold and silver delivered straight to your home or placed securely inside your IRA or 401k. Go to allegiancegold.com/redeagle or call 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191 and mention Red Eagle, and you could be eligible to receive up to $5,000 in free metals, but only if you act right now, because gold is freedom, gold is sovereignty, and starting this month, gold is officially money. So that's allegiancegold.com/redeagle or call 844-790-9191 today. All right, guys, so Pennsylvania, new voter registration update, and this is massive in 1 week. This is not a year or a few months or even 1 month. This is 1 week. The Republicans have netted 9,100 voters over the Democrats. That includes some purges, obviously. That includes people switching their party. That includes new voters, but it doesn't really matter. That's 10,000 voters that are in a swing state, the most consequential swing state. That means that it's not even like flipping 10,000 voters or 9,100 or whatever you want to call it, round up, round down. It's really like flipping millions of voters because of how important the state of Pennsylvania truly is to the Electoral College. And the Democrats had a 900,000 plus lead in the state in 2016. That's with Donald Trump winning the state. Now, the active Democrat voter lead has been just absolutely decimated down to 58,530. And this past election cycle, that was well over 100,000 active voters that they led. Now it's down to 58,500. It's very likely that if this trend continues by the end of the year, let alone by the midterms, the active voter registration lead will have crumbled to nothing. And we could look at this as well because in 2024, come November, which is the election update, Democrats had a lead of 281,000. That lead is now in the total voter registration, which includes a lot of Democrats who don't vote. It's down to like 160, 170,000. And that's still a decline of about 40,000 since December. It's still well on track to possibly flip before the midterms, if not before the 2028 presidential election. And for a while, the Democrats were gaining in the voter registration because you had a primary in Philadelphia. Democrats, which said for the longest time that voter registration data and trends don't matter, were cheering and were celebrating that fact. However, ever since that primary took place, we've seen a reversal of fortunes and Republicans have started to gain. And you would not really see that happening if you were on the verge of a massive, like blue wave in the state of Pennsylvania. You wouldn't see it. But on top of it, just looking at why this is happening, Democrats have a massive problem in Philadelphia. The suburbs, they've done better than they were doing in the 2000s, for sure. But again, they've lost a lot of ground in many exurban areas, many rural areas, even some urban areas, places like Wilkes-Barre, Luzerne County, which was reliably a blue county, voted for Obama twice. It was a Democrat county more times than not, voting for Donald Trump by over 30,000 votes, or just about that, 20 percentage points. That's absolutely brutal. And Philadelphia and the Philadelphia area, Donald Trump actually did better in the Philadelphia suburbs than he did in 2020, and in some of them better than 2016, and even better than Mitt Romney did in Bucks County, because of the fact that you have a heavy white working class, mainly Catholic population, a lot of Italians, a lot of other groups, Poles, you name it, living in the Philadelphia area that have just come home to the Republican Party. They've, in many cases, been naturally conservative, or they haven't voted. Now they're voting in higher numbers and registering as Republican. I think automatic voter registrations helped out a lot. Republicans were initially against it. I said at the time, it's going to come back to bite the Democrats in the rear end. Be happy about this. And it did spectacularly, and it continues to do so. And another thing is like the voter registration stats. A lot of younger voters registering for the first time everywhere are registering Republican. They're not registering Democrat. They were for a while on the Democrat side for quite some time, not anymore. But Philadelphia city proper is the main thing here, where Democrats, this is where they get their votes from. I mean, you look at Kamala Harris even though she lost the state by the biggest margin of loss for a Democrat in Pennsylvania going all the way back to, the 1980s, you had her still win this county 79-20, which is historically abysmal, but she also netted about 422,000 votes over Trump. However, it seems like you're watching trends in Philadelphia. They're working against the Democrats. They're working in favor of the Republicans. And as this is happening, Democrats, this is like what they have to fall back on in Pennsylvania. It's not really what it was before. I mean, Trump netted dozens of thousands of votes this time in Philadelphia over his previous performance against Biden. He's doing relatively decent in the Philadelphia suburbs compared to a lot of people's expectations, and he continues to run it up in the Lehigh Valley, where you have a lot of white working class and a surprising number of Hispanic voters for a state like Pennsylvania, and places like Allentown and places like Berks County. Donald Trump really running it up. And that's why he flipped counties like Monroe, which a lot of people didn't expect him to get. He won back Northampton. He almost flipped Lehigh County, which not a lot of people really expected to be that close. He did better across the entire state. And it's just a massive, massive change of fortunes. And it's extremely important for Republicans in the state of Pennsylvania. Because already you talk about the voter registration advantage just decreasing from 916,000 in the total registration to about 160, 170,000, but also active registration, which kind of matters more, has decreased all the way to 58,530 and possibly is going to flip Republican before we know it. And this means that, 2026, you have a Democrat incumbent governor who has a decent amount of popularity. All of that is true, but also moving forward to 2028, when the electorate comes back to baseline, even if Democrats have a decent 2026 in Pennsylvania, I still don't really think they're going to flip back, any more than 1 to 2 House districts there. Pennsylvania is a state that is going to be Republican, even in 2024. Not only did Donald Trump win, but you also saw in the state of Pennsylvania, if we could look at the other results in Pennsylvania, Republicans were able to knock off the supposedly unbeatable Bob Casey in the state. Also in the House, they flipped multiple House seats. They held every toss-up race. But on top of that, down ballot in these other statewide offices, they won the Attorney General's race by 5 points. They outran Trump. The auditor's race by 5. The treasurer's race by 6. This is a state that is turning from a lean blue state to a lean red state at the most opportune time, because North Carolina, it's another lean red state. I still think that if you look at the registration trends there, it's still very favorable to Republicans. They're gaining there. They flipped, I believe, the active registration. They're about to flip the inactive registration. Pennsylvania's another state. If they win both of these states, they're not going to lose. There's no math for them to lose. Those 2 states matter. That's the entire map, because they're doing much better in Arizona, partially thanks to Hispanics, but also the registration data there is through the roof for them. Nevada, same thing. 271, 203. Everything else is house money that's on the map. I mean, this is where we're at right now in 2025. And J.D. Vance, if the Trump administration continues to post these wins, the economy is doing better, the immigration situation continues to get even better, yeah, I don't see how Republicans are going to lose the 2028 election. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.